Okay folks, this should be the last demo for the day. Let's see if we can make this one come up a real treat. Trying to decide, folks. Okay folks, this will be an interesting one. It's actually, this is it, the CEO magazine, and this arsehole's featuring on the front cover. But the arsehole, I haven't done this version yet, but it says here, we must aim far higher. And that's our fucking shithead Tim Cook. He gets worshipped like a fucking god, like a fucking deity, and yet he produces shit. You know, he doesn't know much about innovation. No one, you know, even though I'm not a fan, I do have some admiration for the late Steve Jobs, because at least Steve Jobs had interesting and new ideas, whereas with Tim Cook, it's like every other tech company, it's stagnated, and basically he doesn't seem to know. Oh, sure, he pulled the headphone jack out of the iPhone 7, and what else did he do? He did something else notably stupid, but that was something people were not particularly chuffed about. But we've now accepted it somehow, that this is it. This looks interesting. I wonder if we're going to maybe tilt it less or keep it tilted like that. Looks interesting, the Apple logo. But yeah, Tim Cook just can't seem to innovate. He seems to have constipated when it comes to innovation. He doesn't seem to care about the customer or the nerds and the geeks that worship him. And I've heard this thing called an Apple tax, where people get charged for being fans because they know that the fans will buy the product even if they do get charged extra, which is a real rort. It's a real cruel slap in the face, but I just wish people would stop worshipping companies and people in the companies of these products, because, you know, they're humans, and they're not just human, they're fucking horrible people most of the time, these CEOs and other entities that make some kind of, they make a difference, but they don't make a difference for the right reason. You know, like they always talk about green and clean and green and all that, and I just don't believe it. I mean, if people say, people say that, I don't know for sure, but they say that Apple have make updates, phone updates that slow your phone down, so you have to buy a new phone, which is real rort. That can't be good for the environment. Doing that, setting it up like that. That looks really quite interesting. I think it looks very minimalist, to say the least. Looks really minimalist. But yeah, I just wish people would stop worshipping Apple. You know, I wish people would stop worshipping Samsung. You know, I wish people just fucking get their head together and see that this is all just a fucking rort, just to make more money off gullible fans. And that's something even people in the photocopier sphere like myself, we can be, as a group, be prone to worshipping companies like this, Konica, Dum Dum, Minolta. I call it dum-dum, but anyway, but, you know, people like that. And I used to be a fangirl of Xerox. But nowadays I don't see any reason why I want to worship companies anymore. I'm not interested, folks. I've lost my appetite a long time ago when it comes to company worship. I just don't have any fucking interest in it anymore. I just can't stomach it. It's really gross. It is, it's gross. I hate it. I hate this stupid fanboyism and fangirlism that people have for these big companies that, yeah, they think their shit doesn't stink. But it's all about ripping up the environment and ripping up people's wallets and using slave labour wherever they can. And it's just not fair. I don't like these pastel colours and simple shapes. I do like dot matrix isn't working for this. But yeah, I just get so over this shit, you know, like people worshipping these big corporations, and, you know, these corporations just don't do the right thing most of the time anyway. So, you know, I don't care anymore. I don't care if I get on the bad side of a company like Xerox. I don't have any respect for Xerox anymore. I don't respect them anymore, folks. I've lost my appetite for admiration and respect for these huge multinationals. I don't have any care anymore. I want to design my own photocopier. I want to one day become the CEO of my own company. I do. I'm really serious. I want to become the CEO of my own photocopier company and hire the best talent, even if it means spending more than what companies do now and trying to hire slave labour and cheap labour, monkeys, effectively trained monkeys, not a homophobic or a racial slur, but basically people who are willing to work for a low wage and people who are not talented or able to produce really good product. They just choose people on the basis of their cheap labour, and they take advantage of these people, you know, these monkey people. And they're like monkeys. They get trained like monkeys. They get indoctrinated like monkeys. You know, you just can't... They just keep... Yeah, I don't know, folks. I'm just really over this shit. And the photocopier industry is really a bad industry. The man behind Konica Minolta is Shayamana. He ought to be ashamed of himself, because this photocopier is about 5 years old now. It's nearly reached the end of its use by date, so to speak. And soon I'll have if I want a working machine, I'll have to how shall I put it? Purchase a new one, and that would be too expensive for me. I haven't got that kind of money, but the industry doesn't care. The industry couldn't give a flying fuck anymore. So the industry to me is a stink. It's a real stink. I hate it. I have no respect for the industry. I have no respect for the people in the industry who... I don't know if this text enhancer is going to work, but basically we'll try. But I want to make a photocopier that the hardware lasts a long time, like 60 years. I want to make... The only part of the machine that we want to upgrade will be primarily the software, not the hardware. Basically, we've got to give these photocopiers plenty of features, but make these features manageable using the power of artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is now becoming very popular now. It's become really, really a thing now that companies are really thinking about, and I do think it has to be implemented in the photocopier industry so that we can have a more positive and user-friendly experience of the equipment. And it's better for the environment, of course, to keep the hardware and services long as you can, and the companies now don't seem to care. And I wouldn't be surprised if countries like China and India bulging at the seams full of electronic waste. And it's really not fair that these countries have to take mostly the westernised countries' equipment that's gone fucked. But it's not just the Western countries, the other third world countries, but the world. It seems like these places have become a dumping ground for the world, and basically we can't have that. So one of the things I propose to do is when I become CEO and we start getting things up to manufacturing, I want to mine the e-waste tips of the world, like from China and from India, making them clean and putting money towards cleaning and greening places like that, and making the water drinkable, making the ground able to be used for agriculture. I've got so many things I'd like to do, folks, if I had the fucking power and money that someone like Tim Cook has. If I had that sort of power, folks, if I could, I would. And I'd make a difference. Sure, I'm still going to have a lot of money for myself, but I'm not going to be selfish about it, folks. I'm still going to give most of it away, but I'll still have a lot, probably more than enough still, to live on really, really uber comfortably. And that's come up looking quite interesting. Do wonder if maybe we'll do a switcheroo, or maybe we'll leave it like that. I don't know, I might do a switcheroo, but basically I really want to make a difference, folks. I want to use my riches to do something good. I want to move mountains, okay? Mountains of junk, mountains of trash, e-waste, and I want to make the world a better place, using all this stuff as recycled resources for our factory. And that's what I want to do. And of course, we're not just going to have solar panels on the roof and a battery and all that sort of shit. We're going to just take it so much further than just that. Just to make the world a cleaner and greener place for everyone. So, yeah. Let's see how we go with this. If this is a better arrangement. Yeah, I think this is better, actually. I think we can now call this little demo quits.